Do you ever feel like your body is just falling apart? You feel stiff as a board, your shoulders are seizing up, your back's twinging, and it feels like one more sneeze, you could put your back out. I know exactly how this feels because I have been there. And I've worked with so many clients who feel exactly the same. And it can feel really overwhelming and never ending. Hi, I'm Jen and I'm a movement and nervous system coach. I'm going to walk you through why your body feels stiff, sore and restricted, why traditional stretching doesn't seem to be helping, but most importantly, what you can do to regain your mobility, energy and confidence in your body, because who doesn't want that? I'll also share my story, which includes learning how to walk again. It was terrible. So let's dive in. Have you found yourself saying things like, my body is just falling apart. I feel like I'm 90 years old. So the real question is, why is this happening? Why do we feel like this? Why do we get stiff and sore, lose mobility, even when we try to stretch and move? A big part of it comes down to what we're doing day to day, i.e. sitting. Sitting all day, every day, in front of a computer at a desk means that your muscles aren't moving. Your joints aren't getting lubricated, that's why they're getting stiff, and your fascia, that connective tissue around your muscles, starts to tighten up. And the more time you spend in these positions, your body just adapts, and over time that mobility starts to shrink down and down, and you get more stiff. And that's because your body will adopt the position that you spend 90% of your time sitting in. Because if you're always sitting on a computer, shoulders rounded forward, and then when you finish work, you sit on your phone, shoulders rounded forward, slouching, you've not actually changed that position at any point. Your shoulders are always here. So naturally, your shoulders are going to round forward, and it's going to be really hard to bring that back out again. And stress. Stress also plays a huge part. When life gets overwhelming, your body goes into what we call that fight or flight mode. It then releases the stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, because your body is sensing danger. So it's trying to protect you. It's like, fire everything at you. So your muscles start to tighten up, your joints lock down, and your energy just drops, because all of your energy that your body is creating is now going into, I'm ready for a fight or a flight. Even if there's no actual danger, which probably isn't, your body is reacting as if it is. Your brain has just decided, yeah, we're in danger. It's just decided for you. And then as we start to age or stay inactive for long periods of time, that tension just accumulates, muscles shorten more, tension rises, joints stiffen, and your energy decreases even more. And the worst part is when it starts to introduce pain, pain has this vicious cycle. When something hurts, the nervous system reacts to try and protect it. So it tightens all the muscles around that area, which restricts the movement, the range that you've got, and then more pain starts to follow. And that's because your brain has basically decided all the way out here, that's dangerous, I don't like that. So that it tightens the muscles, tightens the muscles, tightens the muscles to bring everything back in, because it's less likely to injure itself when it's kind of here, which is why you start to lose that range and you start to find you get sore when you get to here. Whereas before, like in your 20s and teens, you were able to reach all the way out there and it was fine. And then what the body does is it starts to say, well, actually, I don't like that position either. Bring it in a little bit more and a little bit more. And before you know it, you have totally lost that full range. But that's also why stretching doesn't actually help, because if you're feeling tight across here and you just keep trying to stretch it, your brain is still on that high alert. It doesn't feel safe yet. It doesn't want to let go. So what it's going to do is as soon as you come out of that stretch, literally like 5 minutes later, the body's just going to clamp back down again and say, no, but I still don't like that movement. I still don't trust it. I'm not having it. And that's why stretching doesn't seem to have that lasting effect. So let me explain a little bit about how the nervous system is involved in this whole thing. Think of it like your nervous system is a bodyguard, a very overprotective bodyguard. It is constantly scanning for threats, danger, and will act accordingly. When it senses danger, or even when it thinks there might be danger when there's not, it signals the surrounding muscles to tighten. So I started off with pain here, but it's now tightened the chest and the back of the shoulder to help just pull everything in to stop that range. This creates that stiffness, tension and pain, and why it's no longer just sore on that one point where it started, but you're actually now starting to get aches across the front, aches across the back. Maybe you've got a knot right between your shoulder blades. Or for another example, let's say you have low back pain. Your nervous system says, right, that pain is sore. Obviously, that means it's at risk. So we don't want to do too much movement there because we'll injure ourselves. So it tightens everything around it. It tightens up the glutes, the hamstrings, and even your shoulders will start to compensate because everything starts to clamp down. And over time, this chain reaction spreads. So you have sore back, tight glutes, weak core, rounded shoulders, and a stiff neck. So it's literally affected your entire body because pain teaches your muscles to guard themselves. But also, then you start to feel really fatigued because there's this constant tension. You're constantly being weighed down. Everything is tight. Nothing moves well. So you just feel terrible, exhausted. And remember, your brain is still in that fight or flight mode too. So all of your energy and adrenaline is going to getting ready to a fight. So you just feel like this all the time. And it has this self-perpetuating problem. It's not even a vicious circle. It's a spiral. It gets worse and worse. More and more things start to creep in. Everything is tight. It's a system-wide problem. And I know this because I've been there. I spent a lot of time working at my desk all day, every day. I was getting tension headaches, my shoulders were really tight, and I started to get really bad nerve pain when I was using the mouse, and like my whole arm would go numb. I was getting numbness in my ring finger and my pinky, and it was just horrendous. And then I injured my hip. Now, this was a big injury, very sore. And between lots of physio appointments, doctor appointments, I eventually ended up having an operation. And it was torture to recover from. I was on crutches for 12 weeks and I wasn't allowed to bend my hip past 90 degrees for that 12 weeks. So I literally couldn't even put my own socks on. Now, obviously, as you can imagine, there was the pain of the recovery, but also the amount of stiffness that then created throughout my entire body because I couldn't literally bend down to get my own socks on. It was awful. And then from there, my glutes literally switched off. I couldn't engage them at all, like with my brain connection. So one of the physio appointments, she said, right, I want you to squeeze your glutes. And I'm like, right, am I doing it? No. Okay. So she put her finger and she's like, right, squeeze against my finger. And I was like, okay, am I doing it? No. So in the end, my physio had to give me exercises which they give to stroke patients to help get that main muscle connection back because I had completely lost the ability to be able to engage that muscle. It was frustrating and painful and utterly exhausting. And I spent so much time in tears. And it wasn't just because of the pain, though the pain was horrendous. It was also just the sheer frustration of it all. And then I had that moment. I am done feeling like this. I am so unbelievably frustrated. I don't want to ever feel like this again. I need to do something different. So I went all in. I was researching pain, chronic pain, the nervous system. And then I decided to qualify as a Pilates instructor because I wanted to actually help people so that they never felt the way that I did. I studied so hard and I learned all the science behind the chronic pain, the nervous system, how everything works together, how to get the nervous system to actually relax, especially when it comes to pain and movement. And I slowly but surely started to rebuild my strength. My mobility came back. I regained my ability to walk and to activate my muscles again. Yay, glutes. And it was all through scientific proven methods to help get the body working back together again. And that's exactly why I created my program, Feel Bra Again, because I wanted to help people who are stuck and trying to come out of that cycle of extra pain, restriction, mobility, and just feeling like your body is just giving up on you. Because I've been there. And it's for those people who are sick of feeling stressed and just on edge all the time, because stress and pain go hand in hand, stiffness, tension, everything, it's all linked. So how do you actually come out of that tension state where your nervous system just hates you? If you have tight muscles, you've probably tried stretching, but you've probably found it doesn't really give you those lasting results. Like the next day, it just seizes back up again. And that's because stretching only addresses the muscles. It hasn't calmed down the nervous system. If your brain still perceives that that area is a danger area because you've got pain, then sometimes stretching can actually trigger more protective tension. So basically it seizes up more. So you stretch, maybe past the point of where it actually wants to go. Your brain goes, I didn't like that. So next time you try that, I'm going to just send a little bit more pain a little bit earlier so that you can't go as far. I don't like it. Because the body is actually smart. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to stop you from injuring yourself further, from making that pain worse. Though in a weird roundabout way, it's making the pain worse because it's trying to protect you. It's this weird contradicting way of protecting you. It's overprotective. It's overdoing it a little bit. And this is why pain and tightness often come back, because your nervous system hasn't learned just to let go. It's fine. And that's why we need a holistic approach that addresses both the nervous system and the muscles so the two can work together and actually learn to release. So how do we reset it? The first step is calming the body down, trying to come out of that fight or flight mode. Stress is often the reason that we stay stuck in that tight protective posture. Cortisol keeps your muscles tight, your joints restricted, and your energy low. So breath work is one of the first things that people will teach you because it's one of the simplest and easiest ways to just calm that nervous system down. Breath work literally takes you out of that panic stage. If you've ever had a panic attack, you've probably tried deep breathing and have found that it helps. And that's because when you breathe slowly and intentionally, your body starts to down-regulate that stress system because you're saying, okay, we're fine. It starts to slow the heart rate. It starts to tell your body, we're not about to fight, we're calm, we're relaxed. And gentle movement also does the same thing. It teaches the brain that movement is safe and it gradually starts to restore that mobility. Because honestly, when your body feels like this tight, stress, angry, sort of way, the worst thing that you can actually do is push through that, especially pushing through pain when the nervous system is inflamed and raging at you and is like, stop doing what you're doing, because your body is just going to overreact to it, because as soon as you put it under extra stimulus, it's already stressed. And if you then do something which makes it stress more, like an intense workout, using that muscle more than it's ready to be used, it's just going to just go into complete panic station and your body's just going to go, I can't handle this, more pain, more tightness, stop it. And that actually brings me into another mistake that a lot of people often make. and that is working on just the area that's sore. The body works as a system. It's not isolated parts. It's not just your back. Because if you have a sore back, the chances are that pain and that discomfort is going to make you act differently. You're going to sit differently. You're maybe going to sit into the pain. You're slouching down. You're moving differently. You're trying to protect that area. And restriction in one area causes compensation elsewhere. So again, coming back to that example earlier of having low back pain, how that often comes with tight hip flexors, weak glutes, and stiff shoulders. And that's why just working on the lower back, when it's your lower back that's sore, doesn't help, because you haven't worked all the areas round about it that are also now affected. You need something that helps the entire body together, because everything is connected. And moving the whole body together prevents this chain reaction and gets everything just working back the way that it should. And actually that brings me into the next area where a lot of people make mistakes. And that is just doing the same type of movement over and over again. So for example, if you walk every day, you're only going forward and backwards. Your legs are doing this. The legs were also designed to go sideways, to go down, to go up, and you want to try and move them in all those different positions, because if you only do this, you're only training those muscles. Or again, coming back to your back. Your back was designed to do more than just sit like this. It was designed to go forward, backwards, to twist, to arch, to do rotations. And you don't want to be scared of doing those different movements. Quite often when the back is sore, we just stay like this, rocking backwards and forwards, and we become scared of twisting. But actually twisting is one of the most important things you can do for your back, because it really strengthens everything and it keeps everything mobile, keeps everything moving. You're working so many muscles when you do that. So the more movement that you can get, the better, because it helps to get all those muscles working together the way that they should. And that helps to ease out tension everywhere. Because again, all the muscles are connected as a system. So when one's tight, it starts to pull everything down, and that tension increases the entire body. So how often should you move? I said at the start of the video, we spend a lot of time sitting. We have a very sedentary lifestyle, and your posture is going to reflect how you spend 90% of your time. You need to disrupt that position as much as possible. So trying to move more often is the key. And a really great way to do this without adding extra pressure is to assign a movement to a task. So for example, let's say you're working and every time you finish an email, send, shoulder rolls. Or say you've just finished a meeting, you click end call, and then you do some cat-cows while seated. You don't even have to stand up. It's just about trying to get the body out of this position where it's locked in and not getting any movement. But obviously that on itself is not going to be enough to get your body out of this total stress situation. So that's when we want to do a little bit more targeted exercise. And again, you only have to do relatively short sessions. 15 to 20 minutes, 3 times a week is perfect. And that is much more effective than doing one long session, because your body actually responds better to consistency and again to more frequent movement, because the more that you can get the shoulders to open up, get the chest to open, stretch through the back, and just doing that often throughout the week is going to make such a difference to how you feel day to day. So then once we've calmed that nervous system down, we've got a little bit more movement, the next thing is to start concentrating on strengthening the posture muscles and the core muscles, because weak chest muscles at the front start to let the shoulders pull forward. The shoulders are rounding and weak at the back of the shoulder, and that puts more tension on your back, on your neck, and again can lead to more pain. But by strengthening all the muscles around the back, the posture muscles, we're helping to restore alignment, improve function, and start to reduce that pain down, because we're helping everything to sit the way that it's supposed to sit. Core stability is also really important for this, because it helps to support the spine, allowing it to move in all those positions, and again it allows the muscles to engage properly the way they're supposed to. And this helps to make the entire body work the way that it's meant to, because by pulling yourself into the correct position and the correct alignment, the muscles are able to function the way they're designed to function. And reconnecting the mind-muscle connection is also key. Whether you've had an injury or you've just spent a lot of time sitting or just, a lot of inactivity, some muscles can just switch off, like my glutes did. And Pilates and guided movement helps to retrain your brain to activate those muscles properly again in the right sequence, which helps to restore control and function. So again, everything works the way that it should. Your body wasn't designed to stay still. But even if you go to the gym and lift weights, or you go running, again, you're usually just moving in one plane of movement. You're going forwards and backwards. And like I said earlier, your body needs to move how it was designed to. That means you should be strengthening up these side muscles around your hips, around your waist, your lower back, because that full body movement is what restores muscle function, improves the posture, and of course, as we want, reduces pain. Plus, doing frequent varied movement helps to retrain the nervous system, and it helps it to start trusting movement again. And now you can start taking your arm all the way out, because the more that you do that, the more that your brain goes, all right, okay, wait, that is fine. Okay, I was overreacting a little bit earlier. And then your body starts to function as an integrated system again, which is obviously what we want. But that is quite a lot to think about, and it can be quite overwhelming to do all of that yourself. Where do you even start? What specific exercises should you do to strengthen those posture muscles and the core? And how often should you do it? And what about accountability? Often we start with the best intentions, like, yeah, I'm going to do this every day, and then life gets in the way and it's really hard to stay consistent. But the thing is, consistency is actually one of the most important parts. Because as I said, one session once a week is not going to do much long term. You need a specific guided approach in the right order to actually get the results that you want. And of course, to reset that nervous system. And that's why I've created Feel Bra Again. It is a 4-month program designed to take you through it step by step to reset your nervous system and restore your mobility so that you can start feeling bra again. You get 3 guided full body mobility sessions every week, and they're just 15 to 20 minutes long each, so that you're getting that movement more consistently throughout the week. And as the program progresses, we start adding in more for the strength around the posture and the core. And on top of that, you also get one-to-one support with me. I will give you form feedback, you can ask me questions, and I will give you the accountability that you need to get those results. There's also a group chat for support, sharing wins, and maybe venting frustrations, plus monthly group calls to motivate and encourage each other, because we are all in this together to support each other. There are only 10 spaces in the program this month, so get your space now and you'll see the benefits after your very first session. And by the end of the 4-month program, you'll feel like a whole new person, energized, more mobile, and better than you felt in years. So if you're ready to commit and finally feel good again, and to do what is required to get those results, click the link below to secure your spot while there's still spaces, and I cannot wait to support you and help you feel bra again.